What's up, guys? Today we're doing something a little bit different. GoPros didn't work as intended all weekend, really fighting these Hero 12s. Sean helped me out with a new GoPro I'm going to try, so we're going to try that. And other than that, yeah, we got I'm trying something a little bit different as for the intro and for an outro. So we're actually going to have an intro and we're actually going to have an outro. So it's kind of just this GoPro angle of me getting ready, and then the high limit where it's like dun, the theme song. Yeah, that's our outro. And it's just kind of a cockpit view of me doing my thing and doing some laps. But yeah, Fall Nationals, 2 nights. This was our third time running a 360 this year in my stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Chico's historically a track where I don't have a lot of laps in my own stuff, and it's kind of a struggle sometimes, but you know what? That's how it goes, and we just came here to learn, and we're gonna get into the thick of things here right now. Rolling out for qualifying, we tried a different gear. That was kind of our main mindset going into qualifying the first night, was just see what gear would really work well, and the track was still really greasy, so it's kind of hard to judge the gear and do that. So that was interesting as well. And the track was pretty narrow and very greasy for qualifying. My car felt pretty good, but I also tried a shot in the dark, and I tried to lower my right rear air pressure just to see if it would help in the grease, because Chico does get greasy, and that is a factor sometimes. So I was like, well, I wonder if air pressure is kind of the move for the grease. It wasn't the move. I mean, we didn't qualify bad, but we didn't qualify good, and my car was just a little bit on the tight. As you could see right there, we lift up the left front and kind of drag it over, and just because my right rear was rolling over, and it just wasn't the most beneficial thing. Yeah. But now we're starting second next to Landon. The start is everything right here on this race. I felt like my car was equally as good as his, and it just kind of boiled down to how good of a start can you get. And I rolled into it nice, and I feel like he just had more downhill momentum is where Brooks ended up getting me right there. He went down the track more. I feel like if he might have turned down earlier, I could have turned down with him when I went, but he was still going straight, so I kind of had to go straight, and then I had to turn, whereas he was not going, and then he turned down, so he got to make a fluid motion. And I think I just prematurely just jumped the gun just a little bit, and his stuff rocketed off the start really good. But as for the setup, we tried more things for this heat race. I was talking to Hunter Brady, pitted right next to me, and just trying to figure out what they were kind of doing, what direction they go, where do they start, because Schlotty's usually pretty good here at Chico. And yeah, I was just picking his brain, seeing where they start, a little bit different than other tracks. Chico's, I don't know if it's different, but it's different than your traditional small track out here, because it's actually very fast and very banked. It's not like Placerville where you're kind of lifted into the corners and it's really small. Chico, I feel like it's the Hanford of small tracks. There's a lot of momentum to be had around Chico. It is a shorter track, but it races kind of big, and you want to try and emulate as much wing speed as possible. And with that being said, especially in a 360, when the track's this hooked up, you got to have your car nice and loose. So we moved out the right rear, added some more stagger to the car, and I'm pretty sure that was about all that I really tried for this heat race. And it felt pretty good. The looser I tried to get my car, the tighter it ended up feeling. Yes, the track came in with more grip, but 1 and 2 still had a lot of grip. But see how I'm just barely moving my hands? That's because I'm just plugged in the track at this point, and it just felt really good. So going forward, yep, that's right. The feature GoPro didn't work. I mean, it worked, but I got like 1 lap. I forgot to change the battery the first night. I thought I did, but I made sure to change it the second night, and I left my GoPro on way too long for the red, so we didn't get the full feature on the second night, which is a little silly. But that's the 12s are just very finicky, like, because I'll take my battery out and it's still at 12%. But here's the quick time lap. This lap felt absolutely amazing. We started the same as the heat race from Friday, and yeah, I had my right rear really far out. I had a bunch of stagger, and I had my normal package as for everything else for turns and shock and weight-wise and wing positioning. So yeah, the only thing we really changed was just stagger and right rear, how far out it was. And as you could see just how little I was moving my hands, the car was absolutely plugged. It felt amazing, and we got quick time, so that was awesome. And I forgot to clip this video, so I gotta clip it, and I'll see you guys in a hot second. Alrighty, we're back. Now it's time for this banger of a heat race. I actually felt really good in this one. I felt like I was on attack this whole entire time because I wanted the ace in the hole or the dash lockout. That's what I wanted right now. And I knew as long as I got a good start and the guys kind of in front of me, everyone kind of was a little dispersed and not on their line right off the rip. So I just tried to go wherever my little heart desired and told me, and just keep as much momentum as possible. And yeah, just throwing big sliders. And right here, I left my car really loose, even though the track was pretty slick. And I actually felt like I had good speed. Like, the track was really slick coming off of turns 1 and 2, and even a lot around the top in 3 and 4. Like, it is slick around the top and it's slick around the bottom. There is grip to be hit in the middle, but it just wasn't super juiced up. And like you could see right here, it's just a little slick. It's still pretty juiced up, but I knew that I had to get up into second, and the slider line was probably my best bet going into 3 and 4. I got around the 9T, and then I just chop his little snout right here and still keep my momentum up as much as possible. And it allows Tanner to kind of pull away, but now it's time to just hammer it and just bury it into the cushion up on the top. And it's pretty much just a bunch of rolled over big clumps of grip right now. And I was able to enter half of my car up in that rolled up grip in 1 and 2, and it felt good. And I'm just wide open at this point, locking myself down with the brakes, just driving the piss out of this thing. And I felt like I could have won the heat race if I didn't allow myself a lapse of judgment in one moment. But I feel like my lapse of judgment saved me, because yeah, sometimes a lapse of judgment is it's a good thing, because if it doesn't work out in your favor, you're going to go big and wad up a race car. And I'd rather run second in a heat race than wad up a race car any day of the week. But I can see that we're reeling in lap traffic, so I know this is really my time to capitalize. Just keep on hunting down Tanner, try to log in as many good laps as possible, and just keep my momentum up. And right here, the Didion car gets really sideways, and I lifted along with Tanner, and I felt like that hurt me a lot. Now the white flag's out. Let's hammer it one more time in 1 and 2. Tanner gets a little bit tight again, and then I just said, screw it, let's see how much ground I can make up on this slider. I had no ambition of sliding Tanner right there. I just wanted to see how much ground I could really make up if I threw it as hard as I could, because then that kind of can give you a gauge of when to throw it in the feature and how deep you can be and just how hard of sliders you could throw. And I got really close to him, and that was like, oh shit. And I knew when I didn't see him when I was sliding up, I lifted and gave him the lane. I felt like if I did drive it as hard as I really could have, I would have cleaned both of us out. But Gage got a little bit of a silly start right there. He tried to plug it up in the top, and it didn't work out. So then I tried to pinch it between him and Momo, and that didn't work out. And when someone in front of you gets really tight, it makes it really hard on you to not get tight, because even if you just see someone's car not enter right, subconsciously you kind of lift a little bit, and it kind of screws you up. And yeah, just that little bit of lift, that little bit of hesitation allows you to just get tight, and it just doesn't work out in your favor. But now we're just logging laps. The GoPro, I left the battery in the whole entire time, so I didn't get the end of the dash. But pretty much after this, Shane and I, we threw some hands, and we were getting our bows out, and Parker blew it off the edge, and we ended up coming home 4th in this dash. And Momo was on a rocket ship and showed me that slider one was really good, and it was definitely better than what I was doing on the top of 1 and 2. But the top was still the place to be in 3 and 4. But we were pretty much just throwing sliders. But as for this, I mean, look at the lights at Silver Dollar. This stuff is pretty great. And big news coming out, Brad Sweet and Rudine are going to be taking over NARC. That's really awesome. I love where sprint car racing in California is headed. I think with everything going on at Chico and just with NARC, it's headed in a really good direction. And I'm grateful for the people that support West Coast Racing, because without the sanctions, without the fans, it's nothing without you guys. And I just have a race car that sits out in my shop. But now it's 35 laps for the final night of Fall Nationals, and we're eager to get it going. I had a bunch of changes to my car before this, and actually last second after I saw the track rework, I changed my car, and I went back to pretty much where I heat raced at, and I didn't care how slick the track got, because that's what my little heart told me, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm trying to just float the middle and keep up more speed than all these guys, and the bottom was just the place to be right off the rip. And it kind of hurt me in the beginning, and I'm still just trying it, because what am I going to do, just follow these guys on the bottom? And I just allowed Shane and Tanner to just squeeze right by me, and I'm not too worried about it. I'm still just maintaining speed. I know it's a long race. I know my car feels really loose, so let's just get the wing back. I'm not a grease guy. I hate racing in grease. I don't know what it is. I either feel like I lift too much or I'm on the gas too much. And if I'm on the gas too much, I'm usually faster. But I just don't like the way it feels, and I feel like I'm just screaming my motor pointlessly. Like, if I'm going to scream my motor like I do like to do, I want it to be at the end of the straightaway or on the straightaway when I'm just freaking screaming the thing, holding it wide open, generating as much force and as much power into the next corner as I humanly possibly can. And yet, I don't get that feeling with grease. I feel like I'm doing it from the center off of the corner, and that just feels like you're going nowhere, and it's just pointless. But sometimes I'll lift to keep the tires underneath me, and it just feels awkward as well. So it's a balancing act, I feel like, in the grease, and I'm just trying to move around and be the first guy to find the new lane. And Tanner shoves it underneath Jet and gives me the opportunity to kind of finally hit the bottom. As you can see, like, when our left fronts hit the very bottom, like, it's throwing up grease. There is straight up mud on the bottom, and I feel like Chico's the new Knoxville. And the bottom's just so greasy for so long. And in the feature, that's why I trunked my wing and just said screw it. I tried the bottom for so many laps, and it helped me on one restart and it hurt me on another restart. And I was like, well, I really don't know what to do, honestly. But the sweetest route's always out on the edge of the limb, and I just said screw it. If I'm going to win this thing on the bottom, let's really go for it and truck the wing. I can always put it back forward. But after the long red, after a couple of issues up in the stands, I had a front row seat too. We're going to be getting active again, and we're restarting 5th. So I know that we're still in the hunt. We're still in the first 3 rows. Let's just keep on logging and doing what we know how to do and just try and execute laps. And I could tell right after this first lap in that long break that the wind really got to the track, and the bottom was going away bad, and it had to have been around the top. And the bottom finally wasn't very greasy and in 1 and 2, but the top was just so fast. I could look forward and just see Andy pulling away from all of us on the very top, and I was like, yeah, it's time to freaking go. And Jet kind of gets a big run on me, so I just decided to absolutely hammer it going into the next corner because I can't get caught racing with him. I want to go forward, and I want to get in front of these guys. And you also know whenever somebody throws a slider like that on you, they just lose so much momentum. And same thing goes for Tanner, but I kind of ruined that one and clipped the berm and got a little upset, and that didn't work out in our favor. So now it's the same thing. Just try and log laps and generate as much speed as possible. And I knew after I went into that first corner after that slider, I didn't want to bury it in as hard just in case if Jet threw a slider and he was really going to clear it, because that's the time for him to really clear it. But going into the following corner after something like that, that's when you just really sail it off in there, because you know no one's going to be behind you, and it's time to just really go for it and reel back Tanner in. And it's hard when the track's this fast as well, because you're just kind of logging laps and just trying to maintain and just hopefully get the guys. But it's just tough in 360 racing when the track is this hooked up around the top. It's getting slicker with every single lap, and we're lifting more and more, but you're still driving it in really hard, and my car feels really good. And like that, like, my hands are between 10 and 2, and it's just, I'm plugged and I'm making grip. But now it's time to freaking go. I see Momo's getting all juiced up on the bottom. I see everyone starting to really close in. I can see the orange car up really close. I know that Andy's the leader, and I'm going to try and stick to the top for as long as possible. Shane misses a slider and allows Tanner to kind of get side by side with him, and I decide to throw my hand in the mix, and I kind of get up on the berm a little bit, and I feel like that kind of hurt me. If I could have just been off the bottom in the grease a little bit less, that would have been perfect. And then I try and go for a slider on Shane and Tanner, but I have to lift because of Momo, and I'm not going to spin out Momo like that. And then I have to pretty much allow Shane to go back around me. I'm not going to just wreck Shane just for no silly reason. But now we got to get back around Tanner, so we try and stick the bottom for as long as possible, slide up, use Bobby Butler as a pick, and that was a little sketchy. I was trying to watch the red car the whole entire time, and now we need to put Bobby or Billy, whichever one it is, right back behind us, because we can't be messing with these lap cars. We're trying to win $7 grand. We're not trying to run for a starter check, and we have to frickin' go. And this is when the gloves come off, and I'm trying to use Momo as a pick right here, and Momo gets clipped up on the berm, so I have to lift, and I allow Shane back around, and then Dominic Gordon sucks my stickers off. I'm like, okay, the bottom's definitely not it if I'm going to be stuck behind Momo, so we got to get back up to the top, get a little bit of up on the curb, and I'm pretty sure Tanner gets a big run on us now, and it's just an absolute dogfight back here. But Tanner kind of ruins my momentum, so now it's time for me to do a short slider right back to him. I don't enter fully on the bottom, and I just kind of enter up right in the middle of 3 and 4 and just try and kill his momentum, make him slam on the brakes. So that way I have my best optimal position to just absolutely rip the top and not have a slider thrown on me. Now I see these guys just absolutely throwing hands in front of me, so I'm going to say screw it, and I'm going to throw a big slider, and Dominic throws a big slider, so that leaves Shane open for the crossover, and I have to lift because now Shane's going to be coming across my snout, and I don't want to clip his left rear and spin out. So there is just so much stuff going on in these tight laps with lap traffic. My car's getting a little tight, so we bumped the wing back forward. It's time to just bury it, and now the track's wide open and spread out again, and we just got to log laps and absolutely bury it and try to just maintain and catch back up to these guys. And a lot of misfortune. I feel like if that came out really good, we could have came out with second, but ultimately a restart played in my favor, and we came home in third, and that was really awesome for the fall nationals. I feel like I have to give a big shout out to Lee Lindgren. He was a guy who helped me and taught me a little bit about Chico and told me that this place is very stagger sensitive, and I used that to my benefit and tried to expand my knowledge and learn a lot. So that was my big takeaway from fall nationals, is that I feel like Chico is a very stagger sensitive track, and you can't really get too aggressive. So maybe for Gold Cup I can plan my tires out a little bit better. But as for always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one, and we'll be at Tulare next weekend. ShopCaleb.com.